Lights, camera,
Rolling.
action.
Welcome to my podcast, Let's Talk About Verticals, a place where secrets are spilled, stories unfold, and the mysterious world of verticals is revealed in all its glory. Behind the scenes, oh yes. Exclusive insights, absolutely. Eccentric characters, you bet. So pull up a chair, pour yourself something suspiciously strong, and prepare for a conversation you didn't know you needed. So welcome to the podcast Let's Talk About Verticals. And now, let's talk. Hello and welcome to my podcast Let's Talk About Verticals. Today we are going back to an actor, a little bit a dad function actor. I'm not sure if I ever saw him in another role than a patriarch or a dad one, or even a grandpa, I think. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But today he's here and I'm very happy about it. And I say hello to Corbin. How are you?
Hey.
Welcome to my podcast.
Oh, thanks for having me. Yes, great.
How are
Yeah,
you
it's fun.
doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm here in Los Angeles, California. It's a beautiful day today.
Warm? Is it warm?
It's been weird. It gets warm in the afternoons, but the morning was because it's been so warm at this time. We're getting what's called advectional fog. So there's fog, and then all of a sudden it lifts and it's 80 degrees. It's beautiful.
Okay. Ah, that's nice.
Yeah.
So a really nice autumn day in Los Angeles.
Yes, we have a lot of those. Yeah.
And you're now having a break in shooting, or what's the plan?
Yeah, it's it's been very busy here. Verticals are, ever since the strike, the SAG strike, this was the only game in town, was these verticals. And when they first came out, a lot of people were, questionable whether they wanted to do them or not. And now they're so popular and they've gotten better and the scripts are better and the crews are bigger and better. And so now everyone wants to do them. And somebody told me the other day that for a role on these, that you Actors Access or Casting Network, that they see 9,000 people at least per role.
Oh, holy!
Yeah, per role. So that's a lot of time consumption looking for a part. That's why it's nice when they have people they know they've already worked with. Like for me, I get called a lot to do them because, like you said, I played the father, the grandfather, or I play, the Lycan werewolf or the alpha werewolf.
Yeah. Every time really strong leader roles.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
they're fun. And then it's funny because I'm a little tall. I'm 6'3", so sometimes I get these roles where they want it to be a little more feeble, the grandfather. And it's funny because sometimes I just did one and I was in a wheelchair, and then the director was going like, "Nah, this doesn't work. Just wheel him in and then stand up and start yelling at somebody." I think it's so funny because it just, they will hire somebody for that stuff. But for me, I've always been more of the aggressor, and I always love playing. In my career as an actor, I've loved playing bad guys. I've done it for a long time. So
What's so fascinating on bad guys?
I think that the roles are always a little bit better, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're written better, and they give you a little bit more latitude to be able to make it your own. You know what I mean? It's like there might be, I'm going to tell you, the stuff where you have your own idiosyncrasies as a person, that you will deliver stuff when you're mad or angry or being mean, than when you're trying to be nice. When you're trying to be nice, you're nice. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I find that, those are fun. I find it, and those are great roles to be, the nice person and to save people and all that. That's great too. I love those. But I do love playing the bad guys. And I these things that I play, I'm always the richest guy in the world. You know what I mean? I think it's so funny. It's like I tell my kid, now I'm not going to give you that $20 billion because you're not married yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You don't have a wife.
You
don't
are
have an heir,
always
you don't get
threatening. You are always threatening.
Yeah, so it's pretty funny. It's like I play a billionaire father or grandfather, and always have two sons, and one's a screw up, one's good. There's always a girl, and everybody wants either my money or they want to take over my pack in the werewolf.
Yeah,
It's
the thing is, have you ever transferred to your private bank account some of the billions you have in the verticals?
Can you imagine? It's funny. And I always have kind of the same name. You know, my wife was telling me actually that I'm coming up. I think this next one I start shooting next week. I think it's my 50th. And I think it's funny. Yeah, 50. Yeah.
Holy.
So
you started really early, or when did you shoot your first one?
There's a company called, which I love working with Crystal Yang and Carol Chen at 24 Karat Onion. They do a lot. And my first one was called Billionaire CEO with Griffin Blasey and Casey Schreier. And I worked with them a number of times. And that was the first one they ever did. And that was 2 years ago, July.
Okay, so you hopped on the vertical trail very early.
Yeah, the first ones, and it was funny because they would do, they really have evolved. You know what I mean? I do Lifetime and Hallmark movies and other kinds of movies and all that kind of stuff. So they're very similar now in shooting, and then they break them up into the increments. You know, the episodes. But this is when they would shoot just kind of a two shot or back off a little bit, and then they would just do the coverage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they got better and better, and now there's it's the same stuff as shooting any kind of other show. You know what I mean? There's jib arms and dollies and nice cars, and they spend their money in a great place. They spend their money on locations, wardrobe. They always feed you well, and it's a good experience. To do.
Did you know what a vertical was when you did your first one?
It's funny because I did, and I'll tell you why. I'm a director as well, and I direct horror films, and I direct, like I said, Lifetime and Hallmark movies and stuff like that. So I had put together during the pandemic. I wrote 6 episodes of 2.5 minutes because I saw that they were doing this. Because you saw Katzenberg and those guys doing it on a huge level. They were spending $20 million on 8 episodes of 2.5 minutes. And it was just, I don't know if you remember it. They did it, it was Liam Hemsworth was in them. And I knew a guy that was an IT guy, and he kind of told us about it. So I did this Blood Source. And it was 2.5 minutes, 6 episodes of this kind of horror. It was horror. And we got it distributed and put. So I knew what they were doing, that they were making these verticals like that. So I kind of wrote it and did it. So when I first did this first one, I kind of did know what to expect.
And what addicts you to do vertical? What's so impressive and keep one of you doing it?
Well, the first thing is there was nothing else going on. Like I said, when SAG went on strike, there was, people were losing their homes. There was no work here in Los Angeles. So they came in, the Chinese came in, and they had, offshoots of TikTok.
Yeah.
And they were doing these vertical soap operas. And so I got asked to do one, and I was like, okay, yeah, that sounds cool. And then I went to Atlanta to do a feature film. And when I got back, they asked me to do another one. And then I started doing them on a regular basis. And it's good because you can pick and choose. There are so many. Like I just auditioned this morning before we got on with you. I just did 2 auditions for 2 verticals. And there's just a ton of them now. And now the studios and Netflix and SAG and everybody are all getting involved in it now because it's a total success, and it's just a whole new way of watching entertainment. We have billboards here now for good
Yeah,
shorts and
I,
real
s- I
shorts.
saw it, and I saw it in Instagram. Yeah, that real shot
Yeah,
has
it's
some
crazy.
billboards.
It's a huge thing, and these kids are, they're flying them all over the world to do them,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
There.
Uh, uh,
Did you ever shoot a vertical in Europe or in China?
no, I got asked to go to China a couple months ago for a month, but I have a lot of stuff going on here as well. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Besides the verticals.
Yeah.
So, but I primarily have been doing those. I do some commercials. I've been doing some movies, other movies, mainstream movies. So it's a good balance,
Okay.
where you can pick and choose what you want to do because they let you know this is when we're going to shoot them. They shoot them quickly. I
Yeah.
mean, the longest I think I've been on one was 9 days, but the mostly there, you shoot for my roles, the older guy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm usually, 3 to 6 days. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So it's a good balance to keep
Yes. Yeah.
not only doing verticals to get not pickholded in this space, or what's the
Yeah.
reason?
Right. I mean, well, first of all, one of the biggest reasons it's been paying our rent for 2 years, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And I think that's what all of a sudden everybody started to go like, about 6, 7 months ago, everyone started going, wait a minute, can you get me in on these? And it's like, no, including my wife. Now my wife, Shelby James, she does
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them now. She's a mainstream actress as well, but now she's starting to get, she's doing one right now. She just did another one last week, and she's starting to really pick up. But that's how it is. You got to hang in there. You got to submit.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you do one or two,
It's
then you
like a
start working.
snowball. Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
snowball
hopefully,
system.
if
Yeah.
you're good and
Yeah.
you're a good person to work with, they have criteria. They have like a blacklist,
Really?
and they judge people on their being on time, knowing their lines,
Yeah, okay.
being easy to work with, that kind of stuff. And I have never seen it, but I heard about it.
Yeah, to be honest, I think it doesn't matter if it's an acting job or if it's in a real company. There are always kind of rules you have to follow. Otherwise, you are not fit for the job. So,
100%.
I,
It's like, it's not any different. You're exactly right. It's not any different than any other thing. It's just that's being professional. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah,
And so you show up, know your lines, be easy to work with, be easy to direct, and sometimes, you get a little frustrated. It's an interesting dynamic because of the fact that you're sometimes it's the language barrier.
mm,
These are, most of the scripts now it's changed. It's gotten better. But for
yeah.
the most part, there used to be AI written Chinese scripts.
Oh,
And then
yes. And then
they
you saw
Google,
it even in the vertical that this that the sentence
yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
Then they Google translate it, and then but all the directors, I work with a lot of the same directors, with Stephen Law and Simeon Hugh and Tunyi and some really great people,
Hmm.
and they understand it, so they understand and they go like, we want you to say the words, but because it's funny, the Chinese kind of write in ideas. you
Yeah,
know and so when they translate it, it's a lot more words than we would say. So
yeah,
those guys, the directors go, look, make it yours, but just say the words that in your words what they want you to say. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's pretty forgiving. It's very seldom. I've been on like one or two where they go, no, we want you to say exactly what the words are, and it's like, well, we don't really talk like that, but okay.
What's your tip for learning the lines? Do you have any trick, or are you simply good in memorizing?
I've been doing it a long time, and I've done American soap operas and stuff where they give
Okay.
you lots of dialogue, and I do plays. I'm constantly reading scripts, so for me, I can absorb it quickly,
Hmm.
and what I like to do is I like to read it, and then you kind of like you feel it and identify with it, or you don't. And if that's the kind of thing, if you identify with the dialogue and then you kind of do the emotional work with it, it's much easier to memorize it. But sometimes it's hard to memorize. It's easier to memorize good writing than bad writing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and sometimes, in some of these, the writing is not great because it is translated. So sometimes that becomes harder. But for me, I've had it's easier for me than I know a lot of other people. But like I said, I'm not sure it's a trick. It's just that it's been something that's it's easier for me.
Yeah, the brain is a muscle. So if your muscle is well trained, it works really better. Do you have any kind of morning routine when you have to go on set? What you do in the morning? Are you more the type to read over the lines in the morning, or do you have a strict day order, waking up, going breakfast, stuff like that?
It's funny because I get up early every day because I told you I surf. So I get up early in the morning and I make coffee right away. And if I'm going to set, I get into it. I'll stretch. I'll do a little exercise and stuff like that. And then I kind of am thinking about my lines. And then my wife ends up doing my makeup because a lot of times on these verticals, there's so many actors.
Yes.
And you might hear some construction they got going here.
I don't hear it.
Yeah, wow. It sounds like it hurts. So and then I'll just, I'll get ready at my leisure, and I drive and I put music on, and they're usually at our sets are in the same kind of areas. There are certain areas like East LA and that a lot down there, like places that way, and then there's some up a little bit north. But for the most part, you have to drive to these. Some are a little bit longer than others. So I just listen to music and I kind of go over my lines as I'm going. But I had to be honest with you, the roles that I play, it's like I said, I can't tell you how many times I played the same name, like George or Lorenzo, or it's just amazing how I play the same names, and a lot of times I say a lot of the same dialogue. It's funny.
The thing is, I spoke also in this podcast to a lot of fans, and I'm doing with the Six Big Review Ladies a monthly recap about the new shows dropping in the month. And there are sometimes where so many shows with exact the same storyline, only different casts. And I spoke to John Henry Richardson, and he said to me also, listen, sometimes I have to say exactly the same lines, but in a different vertical. So it's not for me a lot to prepare because I have kind of repertoire that repeats often.
It's funny. It's funny because my wife has worked with him. She did a vertical with him. And it's funny because I was up for the same thing, but I was working on another one. And that dialogue was the same as in this other one. And it was so funny. I'm like going, wait a minute. And then you get confused because you're going like, am I auditioning for the right thing here? And it's like, but they're very, it's funny, but it's because people like it. And I did one a year ago called, what was it called? It was called something like Insta 6.0. And it was like their 10th one that they did the exact same script, but they did one with Latinos. They did one with African American. They did and they did the Asian. They did the whole thing. They kept doing it with different casts.
They did one with the Billionaire, one with the werewolf, one.
No, it was the exact same script. They just changed characters.
Yeah.
And so they just named it something different every time. And I thought it was really funny because I also do one called Saving Nora, and that was one of the original ones. Those Saving Noras. Yeah. And they've gone. I play the grandfather in that, and it's gone from the little girl to the mid girl to Brianna Wagner, who plays played Nora in all the other ones. And she's great. She's a friend of ours, and we worked with her on a number of things. But it's just so funny because they just kind of recycle these scripts. And I just did one. It was funny. I just did one a month ago. Yeah, about a month ago. That it was the most popular one in China at the time. So they brought it to America and had us do it. The exact same script, but they just translated it into English.
Is there sometimes a story which doesn't fit for the American market, in your opinion, because the culture difference from China to the US?
Yeah, it's there's stuff that's that's getting better because I think they're listening. I'm not a big fan of any kind of. I know it's a big thing with them is the slapping.
Yeah.
And especially a man slapping a woman. I don't like that. Also, I know I did one. I know a lot of people don't like the fact of the old guy with the young girl. I did one called "Spoiled by My Mafia Son," and it was all about me marrying this young girl, but she manipulated it because she's going to kill me because I
saw this one. I saw this one.
Oh, you saw this one?
Yeah. I saw this one.
So right. So that made sense because she just wanted to kill me, and then my son hooks up with her. They're together. Yeah. So.
The thing is, it was Jackson Tiller, wasn't it? Was it?
No, it was who was it? It was Nick. It was Nick Caraccio.
Yeah, Nick. Exactly. No, because Jackson Tiller did also one where he hooks up with the young wife of his dad. That's why I'm asking if it was. I watched so many verticals. I started also in 2023 watching verticals, so I watched a lot till now, but I'm not really good in all these titles stuff.
Oh my gosh. I was like writing down some titles just in case, you wanted to know some. And I was like going, these are the worst, I don't know why they have to title them, I just got done doing one called Heartstrings and Lies. And I go like, well, now there's a nice title.
That's nice. That's a normal one.
Right, but that was an entire. The difference was it was a complete American crew, an American writer, an American director, and all that. So they kind of gave it an American title. You know what I mean?
It's exactly the same thing. All the stories which were shot in Istanbul, in Turkey, mostly for drama pops, have always normal title.
and people love going there. By the way. Everybody I've talked to that has gone there said that it's a great experience. They treat you well. The culture is cool.
And the crew is a bit bigger, I was told.
Yeah.
Turkish people. We have here in Germany a lot of Turkish people in a lot of Turkish restaurants and stuff like that. And they are very friendly. Every time you go to a restaurant, you got your Turkish tea. They talk with you and they are so open and honest. And I spoke, for example, with Danny Farber, who just shot there a few verticals. And he said the really nice thing is that after the shooting day, everyone goes together for lunch. And they're talking about it's like a big family, he told me. And that's why this work atmosphere is so great in Istanbul, I think. Yeah. And I'm sure there will be more. I spoke today with Roberta Sparta, also director. She is now, at the moment, she flew over to Italy to shoot a vertical these days in Italy. So I'm sure that there will be more and more European countries.
I know that Adam Santa Cruz. Do you know who Adam Santa Cruz is?
Yeah. He was also in Italy.
He was in Italy. He and his brother. And he sent me I worked with him. He's played my grandson and son a bunch of times.
You talk about the Vino stuff he shot with his brother in Italy?
Yeah, that stuff looks good. yeah, he sent me a trailer, and I go, man, good work.
But I was told that's a horizontal, not a vertical. I was always thinking that it's a vertical, but it's a horizontal. Roberta Sparta told me because she produced it.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, because he said it to me, and maybe it was like they shot it in 16:9. But I've done a couple of these verticals where they shot 1080 and 16:9, but they knew that they were going to, go to 9:16. That's the interesting part about it. It's like I was reading something about because a friend of mine is one of the head guys at Drama Box, and I may be directing some of these now.
Yeah.
So I was looking into it because I direct, horizontal. I direct landscape, and I direct with geography.
The big view.
And the thing is that verticals are intimacy and verticals are dialogue, and so it's just that's once you understand that's kind of what it is. That's why like the wide shots that you would shoot, they give you where you're at. That's the geography, and then everything plays like what you and I are doing right now. You know, this is how it plays.
Absolutely. But the thing, I think the vertical will really develop new kind of ways to shoot, because when I started watching vertical and now the latest verticals, they were so different. They are so improved. They are so improved over the last 2 years, and I'm sure it's still at the beginning.
Right. I mean, I think that what you realize is that shooting anything like this is like you light it for film. I know a lot of these things are very bright and stuff. That was what Adam's, the Vino thing. That lighting was very cool because it was very theatrical. And the thing is they're shooting these very bright, all these verticals, they light them pretty bright. They're getting better because the DPs are going and the gaffers are going like, let's make this really cinematic, make it look cool. Yeah. And it shows because, and then it depends on the lenses you use, and they're using really good cameras, and of course it's multi-camera, it's gotten much better. It looks the stuff is getting better.
I think maybe you can shoot in both ways one film and show it in both ways.
I worked on a couple that were like that. I worked on a werewolf one that was a big budget werewolf one, and they shot it both ways. They had both cameras running. One was in 1080 and one was 9:16 and one was 16:9. So they had both.
I think that's a great idea, because you can feed also the TVs or the normal streaming platforms with stuff like that.
There you go. I don't know why. And I
think it's good to do it both way, because I think you can make more money out of it. If you publish it also on a regular streaming platform for TVs.
It's got to be the right thing, because these things are, it's a specific niche, you know what I mean? Because of what they are, they're over the top, they're, but I got to tell you, I was watching on our television because we have what's called the Super Box. So I get every channel, I get every movie, all kinds of stuff, right? Every sports. And I was looking at them the other day. I was watching a movie, and it all of a sudden they had 2 verticals on it, and you could watch the vertical. Now, it doesn't. These just didn't look that good, and I'm not. I guess people that are so into verticals, they would like it, but I'm not sure how it translates on the big screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's. I mean,
true. These are made for phone, computer, and And it's funny when Rolling Stone did that article on them and talk about how big they are now and stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. They said one of the biggest demographics in the United States were cross-country truck drivers. We're watching these. It's like,
Cross-country truck drivers.
Yeah, so I'll be aware of a truck coming by me when I'm going through Alabama next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I thought always that it's kind of 40-year-old women watching it while doing the laundry or stuff like that.
I'm sure that's that, but I was doing one like a couple months ago with Hunter Cole. You know Hunter Cole?
Yeah, I spoke with him also for the podcast already.
Yeah, he's playing my son in one with Rebecca Stoughton. And we were talking because they did the Verticom. You know, they did that thing here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And Hunter was telling me that he couldn't believe how, and he said this, he didn't mean it derogatorily. He just meant, he goes like, there was a lot of normal people on this thing. And I said, well, okay. But he was saying it was like doctors and lawyers and, young men, older men, young women, older women. It was like all kinds of people that just enjoyed it.
That's so true. That's so true. I was at WordFest, the online version which was hosted by Jen from Vertical Drama Love at the end of August. Great. Because not everyone could possibly go to Verticon so easy. And so I joined the WordFest. And I spoke to a lot of other people of the audience. And as I said, I'm doing the monthly recap with the 6 big ladies. One is from Australia, one is from India, other ones from the US and stuff like that. And we are so different in our normal lives, that, as you said, everyone is doing a total different thing. There is I'm a lecturer at the university. The other one is working at the pet clinic. The next one is, but it's always the same. We just want to get entertained after a long day, come home, sitting on the couch and watch a smooth show and get entertained. And that's it. The interests are so equal from all the audience. And I think, and that's what I like in this vertical community. It's so easy to get connect without any overthinking stuff like that or anything. We are just here to talk. We have a good time. We talk about verticals, or when I'm doing this podcast episodes also with actors, actresses, and crew members. For me, it's totally interesting to get the stories. How do you connect to verticals? How do you feel about it, or what are your experiences in it? And so it's every time it's a different story, but everyone had so many fun in this community. Even crew members, audience, actors, actress, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole thing. I think this vertical community is much less complicated than some other communities, I think.
Right. I think that, I mean, if you get up there where, you're navigating all this money that these things make. But for the most part, the production's making these and it's really fun because I work with the same people all the time. Yeah. You know what I mean? Or like I just did one and I knew a couple of people, but for the most part, it was like meeting all new friends. And then you get on the set and it's funny because I play so many of the grandfathers and fathers. They're all the kids are my kids,
And how many kids do you have already?
Yeah. Well, it was funny because 24 Karat Onion had their Christmas party last year. I was working, so I couldn't go, but they were going to do a whole thing about how many kids and grandkids I had on their shows.
And so how many?
They did a whole thing, and it was something like 25 or 30. You know what I mean?
Oh, a lot of alimonies, huh?
Yeah, to
pay.
Yeah.
And you need to buy a lot of Christmas presents.
Yeah, and it's funny because I have a wife a lot of times in them, but a lot of times We never see if where my wife is or not. We never even reference her.
You only
You know what
have
I
the
mean?
kids.
Yes, I just have kids or werewolves. You know what I mean?
Which role was the most challenging so far for you in a vertical?
Oh gosh, I'm not sure. That's a hard question because I don't think of anything being that challenging. Sometimes, when we're doing the werewolf stuff and I have to fight and stuff like that, although I do all that and I had a martial art little background, but my knees hurt. So whenever I get thrown down on the ground and stuff like that, I'm like, ay, ay, ay. And they're going, oh, that looks good. That looks real. I'm going,
It is real. Holy shit.
Yeah. It's like, hey, okay, let's do it again. No, let's not do it again.
No.
Let's move on. But those are always fun. Or I think it's really funny. It hasn't been really a challenge for me, but I've been on the ones where it's challenging. Like I did one, oops, I made it with my alpha something, I don't know, but it was all the guys. It was Griffin and it was Ben and it was Nikki, all the Nickies.
Ben Whalen or what?
Ben Ubanis.
Okay.
Yeah, and gosh, I mean, it was all of them, and they all had their shirts off, and it was a werewolf party, and it was kind of funny because it was like, Molly Anderson and one other girl, but it was all guys walking around with no shirts, and I was like going like, this is interesting, and so, but it was freezing, and makeup they put oil on these guys. So it was like, and I was like, I had never been so happy to have like a big fur. They had the big fur on me. And I was just, I'm sitting back in a chair going, yay. And it was like 2:00 in the morning and it was like,
oh
freezing,
shit.
Man. But they grin and bared it. They did it. But
what did you play? Mostly likable, the mafia ones or the werewolf ones or the classic CEO billionaire ones, or what do you like to play?
I used to love the werewolf ones a lot, and I had the nails and I had the eyes and teeth and everything. Those are fun, but I really like the ones that have a little bit more congruency where I'm throughout it. And it's like I have a son, and there's some. It's not just yelling and slapping and stuff. That there's an arc to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just read for one today I really liked the dialogue in it because it was more. And it's a Christmas one. Marry Me by Christmas. It's called. And so
I hope. I'm still waiting for more Christmas verticals.
Oh, there's a bunch coming. My wife's doing one right now. And it's a Christmas one. And but I read for a couple of them. I just did one with Tyler Sheard. You know Tyler?
Mm-hmm. I know him, yeah.
So, Tyler played my son in this one that was supposed to be Christmas, but they changed it to Thanksgiving. So we just did that like a couple weeks ago.
When it's Thanksgiving. Is it already released? No?
No,
Is it
I don't
out?
think so. No. And a funny thing, I just saw, one today when I was trying to do I was trying to give you some, if you needed any titles and stuff, I was looking, and I did one with Noah and Naomi Van Slyke. She's great. She's been my daughter in like 5 of them, and Noah played my son. He played the Prince Harry, and I played the king. And so I was looking at that. I'm like going like they changed the titles, so you never know what you're in. To be honest with you, I've never even seen one. I've never seen a vertical. I've only seen where they sent me my scenes, so I've seen scenes from them, and I've seen trailers, but I've never seen one. I've never seen a whole.
Do you read reviews of your shows?
My reviews? I don't think so. No. I saw a couple where people said nice things, but people just sending them. I really haven't. I know that Jen from Verticals, she loves my wife, Shelby James. She always writes really great things about it because my wife always plays like the funny kid, mean stepmom. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, the thing is, when I'm doing or I'm talking the review stuff, for me, it's totally interesting because everyone has so different view on verticals and on the storylines. And there are a lot of verticals with some kind of triggering stuff, and a lot of audience got triggered in total different ways watching verticals. And that's the reason why I'm asking if you are reading some of the reviews, because maybe for you as an actor, it's also interesting what the audience
I know that.
thinks.
Yeah, I saw like some of the stuff on Instagram that the audiences aren't liking these slaps, and definitely men not that.
Yeah.
And some of the subject matter is has got I know I haven't done really any of the ones like this, but I know they've gotten a lot more sexual.
Yeah.
I know that is a problem for some people, and I know that
The raping stuff.
the raping stuff is gnarly. And the thing is, I won't do that. And
Yeah.
I don't want to like. And the thing is, it's funny because it's a blessing and a curse, being someone like me, where they all just offer me roles now because I've done so many, and I'm the old guy with the beard. And but sometimes we say yes, and then we get the script, and it's like, oh man, I'm not sure that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? But but the directors are very accommodating.
Okay.
They understand it too, and they want to keep the fans happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they'll make these adjustments, and they understand what works in our country or your country or other countries that are like that. Now there's countries like, I guess, in China, it's cultural.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and I understand that. It's just, that's it's one of those things where I do know that I've read reviews and stuff like that from people around the world that don't like the rape, they don't like the hitting, and they don't like the old guy with the young girl.
No, I think the older guy with the younger girl is not even the problem. I think it's more the problem that every time, or mostly every time, the women's are weak in their roles. If you have a married people storyline, mostly the husband is totally dominant and tells his wife what she has to do, and she is so weak and not. Also the same stuff. I want to see more powerful women in I don't know, leading roles in the companies and stuff like that. That's more actual themes. Not every time this whole shitty weak secretary or assistant needs to be saved by the big man. Every time the women work so weak and not able to survive in these verticals without a man.
I think it's interesting because I've done a lot of them where, especially the werewolf ones, where the girl starts out as she's weak and they make fun of her and stuff like that, but she's really the white wolf, Lycan. You know what I mean? And at the end, she comes back. So it's really the evil against goodness, and the goodness prevails. But they start out making it so the diversity is so much from being weak until at the end, well, you know who I am, like that. And I know what they're going for, but it's, like I said, I do a lot of Lifetime movies too. And they're all female driven storylines, where the women is strong and stuff like that. So I think, but although the ones that I've done recently, the women are stronger in it. You know what I mean?
Hopefully that they are getting stronger, because every time it seems that the women cannot survive in living without getting rescued by a man. And then, and look how often the storyline is a woman got hooked up, got pregnant, and she cannot survive without moving in with the guy, and he pays for everything because she has a lot of debt because of any medical bills because someone is in the hospital.
Right. Or her mother or grandmother has medical bills. Yeah.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I've done a few of those.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of, when you started watching verticals really early, like I did, after a year, I think at the end of last year, the stories started to repeat in a lot of different way. And now it has come so far that you see exactly the same storylines dropping 2 or 3 days apart with only a different cast. And that's the thing when I'm asking, okay, what do they expect from us audience? We won't watch both at the same time because it's the total same storyline. So why are they doing that?
I know that I heard that, I mean, I know, like, for instance, Drama Box say they make 12 a month. And I was told that there's 5,000 production companies making these.
Yeah.
I don't know if those numbers are elevated. I don't know.
Yeah.
I also heard about the money that's being made. Who knows what's right? But I think that the ideas aren't changing because they think, they being whoever they are, think that that's what the people want, that they want the same storyline. They don't realize that people want, different ideas. And that, I was even telling my friend who wants to get into these out of New Mexico in Albuquerque. He's a producer that produces, Hallmark and Lifetime and big movies and all kinds of stuff. He wants to get into verticals now. Yeah. And the thing was, I was telling him, why not do something, a perpetual show like a Yellowstone, something that keeps going, and it's the same characters, only you bring in new characters as you go. Why can't you do that? Like the nighttime soap operas, like, remember, you're probably too young, but there was like, Dynasty and those kind of things, in the old days.
I'm not so young as you think.
Well, everyone's young to me, but
okay.
But you know what I mean? It's like, you have a perpetual show. And
I spoke with Kirby Elwood about it because Kirby wants to shoot so badly in Europe. And when we were recording, we had this idea because I want to see more kind of criminal verticals, like Miss Marple and Sherlock Holmes stuff. And we got the idea, how would it be if we do a criminal series kind of verticals? When there is the leads are always the same, but they are moving to different countries, and then they have to solve their different criminal cases with the different casts. So I think for the audience, it would be really nice if there is getting a bit more usual in the vertical. Because, for example, on Candy Jar, you see a lot of verticals with more than one part. On the big platforms never shot a second part of a vertical. Yeah, even when the first one had a shitty cliffhanger at the end.
Right. It's funny because I was doing one and I was like, said to them, it was the big climatic, scene at the end. It was like everything, and they kind of rushed us through it. And I was like, whoa. Why are we rushing through this? This is the end of the show. And they're like going, we don't care about that. They only care about the first 6 episodes.
They are caring about the episodes till the paywall.
Yeah, exactly right.
Because mostly of the story happens in the first 10 episodes before you hit the paywall, so that they can hook the audience to pay to watch the rest. Right. And in the rest, 40 or 50 episodes, they are nearly discussing 1 hour. The question, is it really him or is he a fraud? Yeah. Maybe at the banquet scene.
Yeah, those banquet scenes, man. They go,
they
go forever.
But I have the impression that lately the banquet scenes are getting less, hopefully.
Well, I can tell you, for instance, and Kirby, by the way, we're friends. She's played my daughter a couple times, and then she played my wife's daughter in a feature film about John Wayne Gacy.
Okay.
Yeah, but that it's funny because my wife's doing one right now. I told you, the Christmas one.
Yeah.
And the entire show takes place in one day, and it's all at a banquet, except one like scene. It's all at the banquet. And
it's all the big question if it's really him or her or not.
Yeah, it's
That's kind of stupid. There was already a Christmas vertical. It was with Molly and Noah.
and yeah,
It was exactly the same thing. It was the returns. What was the name? I don't know. But there was only this one question, and I'm asking, who can make such a script money with only one question who could be solved in 5 minutes if this person would show his ID and finished?
I know.
You know what I mean? So,
But there's lots of stuff that that you go like, oh, come on. But that's the nature of the beast.
yeah, but in that case, I love, people like Adam Santa Cruz and stuff who started writing their own stuff and bring something new in this one.
Right. I brought him on, that guy I told you about in New Mexico. I hooked them up, and so they're exchanging ideas for one. Yeah.
Or also the stuff Eric Guillemette does also in Italy, this Dungeon of Ecstasy stuff, and I think Felix directed it, Merbeck. But I would love to see more of the actors switching the part to writing and also directing, because I think they know what the audience wants to see.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's kind of risky because the platforms are not willing to take a risk for something new.
They're it's funny because I've been asked a couple times. Pocket FM asked me to direct, and then and now Drama Box has interested in me directing. So I will feel it out and stuff like that. But it's not. I was telling, like, for instance, my friend in Albuquerque, I was just telling you about with Adam. They collaborated. They got like 4 or 5 scripts. They put together a nice package. My buddy has all the money. He's got all the cameras. He's got all the locations. He's got everything. He's not asking for anything. He just wants a platform to put it on.
Yeah.
And they had a top female director, and they've been turned down. Yeah. Because the platforms want a very specific thing.
I spoke also to Dan Lovenstein, the director from the UK.
Okay.
And he told me that they are founding an own platform now in the UK, so that they have more flexibility in publishing new stuff.
Right.
Because they were turned down a lot of times with kind of new great stories. But if you're looking at, for example, Vigloo or Candy Jar, they are more willing to take risks because when they are publishing stuff, it's mostly a kind of new storyline.
Yeah, I worked a couple igloos.
And I really like that because it works, You see, for example, also with Adam Santa Cruz, this campus rival stuff. It works.
Yeah, I was bummed because they asked me to do that, and I couldn't because I was on another show. And Adam asked me to do it with Eric, and I was like, I'd love to do that, and they did pretty well with it.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's kind of new, fresh material, I think, which is needed for the future a bit more to continue with this vertical, or maybe to increase the quality of verticals.
Yeah.
Because I have the feeling the big platforms, Real Short and stuff like that, dropped a lot of shows lately per week. And because there are so many platforms now, the audience is not able to watch all these shows anymore in a week. Because, for example, I'm having 49 apps right at the moment on my handy, 49 platforms to watch. God. And I know a lot of people which are having even more than 49. And if you have to purchase for every platform a membership.
That's a lot of money, yeah.
Here in Germany, for example, a weekly membership on Real Short is about 25 euros.
Wow.
For only one platform, 1 week. And if you want to watch, I have the feeling lately that every time I see a new show is dropping, it's dropping with a new platform. And that's kind of hard for us audience to decide what and where I want to watch it, because if you have to purchase every time a new membership or coins, because some platforms don't even offer memberships, it's getting more and more expensive. But lately, for example, Reshort dropped in, we spoke about it in the September recap of our podcast episode. They published so many shows, but the quality was really shit.
Oh, wow.
It was so, it was not worth the 25 euros in a week to watch these shows, because they published a lot of quantity but not quality. And that's what I've, for example, like on Figlu or Candy Jar, they are not publishing so many shows, but the quality is really good. And I think the interest of the production company should get back to the quality, not the quantity, in my opinion.
Right. I think now that, it's the popularity of it and the studios getting involved and all that, there'll be less, but better. So like you said, it won't be quantity, it'll be quality.
But I'm not sure if there will be less platforms. I have the feeling at the moment that there will be even more.
It's just,
even more. Yeah, we will see. What's a no-go for you in a vertical?
Something I wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I wouldn't do a rape scene, and I don't, do any nudity or anything like that, And I know, but I just, for the most part, that's, I just. And the good news is I don't have to, that hasn't been a factor. There were some where they had me hitting, slapping, and I and some of them they wanted me to hit and stuff, and I go like, why can't I just, let's make it so it's not so extreme, you know what I mean? And so they've done that, but for the most part now I don't have to do any of that.
Oh, that's good.
But it might be and even with the guys, instead of like a punch, I just maybe like that, and it's usually my kid, that's just like, or someone that's, insubordinate, and you do that. But that's, I went to a rape scene. I won't hit, they even have like hitting pregnant women now and stuff like that. It's like, you gotta be kidding. And, stuff like that. So I that's a no-go for me. Nudity, no. And but for the most part, I just get to play, the millionaire, billionaire bat.
Old wise rich man.
Yeah.
Don't forget the rich.
Yeah, it's always rich. Never, it's been I can't remember if I've done any ones that I didn't have at least millions of dollars.
Would that be kind of challenging role for you to play only a millionaire next time?
That's really slumming it.
Or maybe a billionaire homeless guy.
Yeah, that would be fun. I mean, I'd love that. That would be really fun. Yeah.
What would be a role you want to love to play? Kind of psychopath, or I don't know.
Yes, that would be really cool. I'd also like to do a sport one. I know that Tyler Shearer and I talked about doing a hockey one because we both play hockey. I used to play. He still plays.
I saw. Didn't Tyler do a hockey one lately?
He did.
Yeah.
But he wants to do
on his profile.
He wants to do another one. So that would be fun. I mean, I think it's that would be fun to play a psychopath. It'd be fun to play a psychopathic, a psychotic grandfather billionaire.
Yeah, so that you have at least the billions.
And that's the title.
The psychopathic
psychopathic CEO
grandpa billionaire. Yeah. Or the title would be my grandpa is a psychopath CEO billionaire.
CEO Alpha. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, no. Did you ever do a vampire one?
Not yet. No, I'd love to though.
Because I have the feeling that they are getting less at the moment, aren't they?
I thought that when I've been doing a lot of them and I really haven't seen too many. I know that Mark Poncherelli, he just did that, and he I was going, oh, are they starting to do vampires now? And I know, I guess there's some, but it was always to me, no, they're doing werewolves, but I know
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
doing vampires too. Yeah.
No, because I haven't seen a lot of vampire shows dropped lately, and I was thinking that for Halloween, for example, there will come more vampire stuff, but I'm missing the vampire stuff. I really like this vampire stuff because of all the costumes, and the
Yeah.
locations are always so great in the
Right.
vampire ones. So,
Yeah. They have some really cool places to shoot that stuff here, which is really nice, you know. We always shoot the same place. The werewolf one's really funny. It's a really creepy old house up by La Canada, and it's interesting house, but it looks like the haunted mansion at Disneyland.
yeah, that's always, I love the mansions are also impressive, but in the werewolf and vampire ones, I like the locations a bit more
Yeah,
because
well, like I
they're,
said, they spend their money wisely. They spend it on
yeah,
locations
yeah.
and wardrobe, and yeah, it's good.
What change you want to see in the next time in this vertical space, or what do you think what change is needed in this vertical industry?
I think that I think it's going in the right direction with better scripts, of course,
Mm-hmm.
and with better scripts comes better actors. You know, better acting. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Where it's not just this is and people taking the job seriously. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because you're very fortunate to have an acting job in this world,
Mm.
and so I think that that's very, very important. You know.
Yeah, the thing is, I'm hoping for better scripts,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure if they will hit the market. As we spoke about, it's then the platforms to take the risk for new scripts.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like I said, I just did one, and I thought that it was called Heartstrings and Lies, and it was the writing was good, and the scenes made a lot of sense. You know,
so there is still hope, you want to say?
Yeah, I mean, I just think to be honest with you, I'm just going for the ride as long as it goes. You know,
Yeah.
it's been fun for me. I've been very fortunate and blessed to work, a lot,
Yeah.
and I know that we're kind of coming out of the strike problems here in LA. Gavin Newsom allotted a bunch of money for Los Angeles and California for filming. And so it's hopefully going to come back, not just for me, but for everybody in my city, because people have really suffered during this,
Yeah. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
tough time. I mean,
Have you?
production was down 40% production, and
Yeah.
they didn't want, and they didn't want to shoot anything here. I did a couple commercials this year. One was in Vancouver. They flew me to Vancouver for one day to do a Rosetta Stone commercial, and then Kinder Chocolate. They flew
Mm-hmm.
me to Santiago, Chile for one day. I mean, to shoot one day. I was there for a
Yeah.
couple days.
Yeah. Yeah.
To shoot Santiago, Chile, because it was cheaper to shoot there, and I could have shot this in Malibu, in Topanga
Yeah,
Canyon.
that I was told that a lot lately because I was wondering why they are shooting so many verticals in Europe right now. And I was told that in most of the time it's cheaper to fly the actors over to Europe, give them feed, hotel and stuff, than shooting in the US. It's in Europe it's getting more and more cheaper.
That's interesting because I'm not sure that's the case. But I mean, I understand that. But the thing is like these verticals are always kind of the same kind of budget. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And they get the actors that are right here in LA who drive to work,
Yeah.
and they have great locations. And like I said, wardrobe and every like that. So I'm not sure flying actors to Europe and putting them up at hotels and stuff is cheaper. You know what I mean?
I was told a few times from different people now.
Wow,
So
that's interesting.
I don't know.
I don't
We
know
will
either.
see. But in
I don't
Germany,
know either.
there aren't still verticals. We only have the platform. Candy Jar is German, but isn't any vertical shooting. Verticals are not so common here in Germany still.
Well, maybe that's something you should do.
Maybe I should give my students a lecturing about verticals and not about business informatics.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. But anyway,
No.
yeah, so all good.
Yeah, we will see where it goes its ways. You know, the thing is, I'm really hoping that there is some change and improvement in the next, I'd say, 2 years, as I told in scripts and the stories itself and stuff like that. But from the beginning, when I started watching verticals till now, it grows really. It was so nice to see how the actors get more experienced in shooting verticals, how the verticals itself in quality improves. I know the first verticals I saw with this shitty voiceovers, they were so badly, really so badly. And now it's getting more and more better. And so
it is.
we can still hope.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, and I imagine it's just going to get better and better because, like they say, verticals are here to stay.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it was just not an anomaly. It's real and it's going to stay.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully this podcast can also stay. We will see.
Yes,
We'll
good
see.
for you. Yeah.
Yeah. Hope. I'm still full of hope, you know. In every way of the verticals, I'm still full of hope. So,
Yeah.
Corbin, at the end of every episode, I'm asking a 5-question quickie.
Okay.
Everyone the same stuff. First question, what's your favorite dish? What do you like to eat?
I am going to say
Steak and candy.
my wife.
What does she say?
She said, I think she said steak and cheeseburger, and that's what it is. I would say cheeseburger, a great cheeseburger.
Steak and cheeseburger. Great
Or
combo.
I would say my favorite, if it's really good, my favorite food is probably cheeseburger. I don't eat a lot of them, but when I do get them, I love them.
That's good. That's good. So, what film do you like at the moment? What kind of film are you watching?
That's funny because we watch because I like I said we talked about I'm a director and a producer
Yes,
and
yes.
I've done a lot of horror films. So I love horror films and we try to find good ones and it's not an easy task finding a good horror film because what they do is the first 2 acts are good and then they just kind of explain everything in the third act and it kind of ruins it for us.
Okay.
I would say, what did I watch recently that I really liked? What did we watch?
Well, we watched The Last Conjuring.
Yeah, The Last Conjuring was pretty good, but
Yeah.
something that I really like. I got to tell you, a television show miniseries that I'm watching that is fantastic. There's a lot of those, but they're really good. Is the Diplomat? It's a really good show, and Black Rabbit. That's a great show.
I know The Diplomat, but Black Rabbit, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
Jude Law and
Jason Bateman and Jude Law. It's fantastic. It's really good. If you can get it.
I'm not sure. if
Netflix. It's on Netflix.
Yeah, but to be honest, not everything on your Netflix is available in Europe on Netflix. It's also the same with Amazon Prime.
Right, because we get a lot of European films on Netflix.
No, for example, Eric Gilmet did a really nice Christmas one, Tales of Christmas, which was released on Amazon Prime. You cannot watch it in Europe. Robert Palmer Watkins did, was it last year or this year, a really nice Amazon Prime, I don't know if it's a horror show. I want to watch it, not available in Europe. So that's always a bit shitty.
Yeah, I've done a lot of Christmas movies, so they're always out there. I don't know if you get them there. A Christmas Vintage, Merry Christmas.
So after asking for your favorite film, I want to know what's your favorite music? You said that you are listening to music while driving to set.
I love music. So I was raised on, the Beatles, and I love the Beatles, my favorite band. I love Crosby, Stills, and Nash and Young. I love James Taylor. I love, and I also like, rock and roll. I love Led Zeppelin. So the older stuff, but I also like
Oh,
newer stuff.
Led Zeppelin,
yeah,
that's good.
yeah, I like Foo Fighters and stuff. But I also like stuff like Pat Metheny and Jean-Luc Ponty and people
Yeah.
like that. They're really good fusion jazz kind of stuff.
So it depends in which mood you are.
Yeah, I go for it because I go on walks and runs and ride my bike every day, and I always have it in my ear. But there's stuff. Pete Yorn, he's great too, and then old stuff like Level 42, and I like all kinds of music. So I just listen to all kinds of things in my ears. But when I go to set, most of the time I listen to more like Pat Metheny and fusion stuff, Alan Pasquale.
Okay.
Yeah, like that. That's just like moving music, So your senses are already keen when you get to set.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. So you said you shot round about nearly 50 verticals. When I would come to you and say, listen, Corbin, I want to start watching verticals, which one of your verticals I should definitely watch?
Well, I really liked making that the Mafia Son one. I liked that one a lot. Gosh, to be honest with you, I couldn't tell you because I don't even know how they came out. Like I said, I've done so many of them, and I really enjoy all of them a lot. You know what I mean? The one I just did with Tyler Shear, that was really a fun one too, and I can't remember what they ended up calling that. Blood and Rose, Dark Rose, or something. Because they changed the titles. That's why people go like, "Hey, what did you do?" And you look at the call sheet, and it's one thing, and then all of a sudden it comes out on IMDb, and it's like, "Was I even in that?" And you go, "Oh, yeah,
What? I don't know that.
Right, but that was really a fun one with him. We shot at a really cool big house. It was supposed to be mine. It was a very controversial storyline. I was disappointed in him. I want him to take over the business, but he won't. That storyline's very, and then all of a sudden we didn't know, but he had a child, and she comes to the house looking for him, and I'm like, she looks just like one of the voiceovers. She looks just like him. Could it possibly be my granddaughter? And so it's like, then I'll get her back and I'll give you billions of dollars. And, they're like, could it be? I'm the granddaughter of the richest man
Could
in the
it
world.
be? Bring me back my granddaughter, please.
But that was a really good one. And he and I had some really good scenes in that. That was, gosh, I wish I knew the name of it. But when it comes out, I'll let you know, because we just shot it. I mean, I just got done with it a couple
yeah.
weeks ago.
Yeah. So let me please know when
Yes,
it drops.
I'll let you know all these.
Please. Yeah. Last question. Which genre you want to see more in verticals?
Which genre?
Yeah. Or maybe new genre?
You know what? I'll tell you, a new one. I want to see a Western.
You 100 points for me. I told everyone so much I want to have a Western vertical with the saloon stuff, with this old duel stuff and lassos and horses and
yes, I'm totally down.
Great.
I'm totally down for that kind of stuff. And I was trying to talk my friend into it in Albuquerque because it's all ranches and stuff there, But
and what did he say?
Yeah, right. You know how everyone says, "Yeah, I love it. Write a script."
Okay, so we need a script writer for that one.
Yeah.
No, because a Western one would be so nice, but the old Western style with the saloon stuff and so.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
Oh, yes.
And people would love it. Yeah.
And you as the sheriff or what?
Of course. Yeah.
Howdy.
I've done a lot of Westerns, so I love it.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. I would love to see more comedies, to be honest, also.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think
bit more
those will come
fun
around.
stuff.
Yeah.
That would, maybe a funny Western. That would be a good combi.
Yeah. Yeah.
We will see.
I'm sure that they'll start, and these other, bigger people getting involved now. We'll try to see,
Yeah.
they'll start newer stuff. Yeah.
Hopefully. Corbin, thank you so much for your time and
Yes.
talking to me and joining me for this episode. It was a pleasure talking to you.
You as well. And I hope to talk
And-
to you again soon.
Yeah, hopefully. And keep me informed about new upcoming stuff, please.
I will, for sure.
Thank you very much.
Right. And happy baking.
Thank you. Have a nice day, Corbin.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
This is a wrap on this episode, and I hope you tune in again.